Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
This story is sponsored by Little River Medical Center. Good morning and thanks for joining us today again on Living Local Carolina. Today I'm at Little River Medical Center and I'm joined by Dr. McGinley. How are you, Dr. McGinley?
I'm doing wonderful. I hope you are.
I am too. We've got a big topic on the board today. We're talking about breast cancer awareness. It's the month of October. Tell me, what are some stats that we're seeing right now with breast cancer?
Well, we know that breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer that we see in women and the second leading cause of cancer death in women. So we know that over a lifetime, 1 in 8 will be diagnosed with breast cancer, so very common.
We were just talking about how it's very preventable if you're able to screen as early as possible.
Right, so not exactly preventable, but detecting very early.
Yes. Important to note.
Important to note, yes. So if the earlier we can detect it, the better we can treat it and the better survival rates.
So in your line of work, what do you do on a daily basis when it comes to scanning and treating people?
So I always make sure, starting at age 40 and up, per the guidelines, that we remind our patients to screen for breast cancer. I'm very lucky in that I have a mammogram machine right in our hallway here. So when somebody's reluctant, I can make them feel more comfortable and say, let me just lead you down to get it.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. This is a pretty new technology that you guys have. It's 3D mammography, right?
That's correct. So the idea of 3D means it's digital and you're going to have many more images. That allows the radiologist to more easily see it and see it early, a cancer that's coming. 50% of women have denser breast tissue. That makes it a little more difficult to see. So having the digital film, we can see that much easier.
And this can be more comfortable as well.
It can be. So there is certainly going to be some compression involved. If you know you're more sensitive to having compression, we recommend taking Tylenol or ibuprofen about an hour before. The other thing is planning it, maybe scheduling it maybe not the week of or the week before your menstrual cycle. That's when the breast tends to be more sensitive.
Okay, those are really good tips. I was going to say, those are things that you wouldn't necessarily think about.
And most females have no problems at all tolerating it that way.
All right. To break it down for somebody that might not know, describe the whole process to get a 3D mammogram.
So here at Little River Medical Center, all you have to do is call and make an appointment or come on in and schedule an appointment, and we can usually do it right on the spot or schedule it to when you like. But when you come for your appointment, we have a very wonderful radiology team here. They're going to make you feel very warm and kind. We have a separate changing room, and then yes, this is the equipment that'll be utilized, and it takes maybe 10-15 minutes the most.
Why do you think it's so important for us to talk about this kind of stuff, especially in the month of October, but in every month?
It all breaks down to saving lives. The sooner we can get you screened, the sooner we can find a cancer, the earlier treatment we can get, your better chance of surviving.
The typical screening age for breast cancer is 40, but what if you have a family member who had breast cancer?
Oh, great point. So we start at age 40 for those at average risk, but those who have a family history, screening will definitely start earlier, and a lot of times it depends on the age that your family member was diagnosed. So for example, if your mother was diagnosed with breast cancer at age 35, we would start you at age 25.
Access to 3D mammography is a service available exclusively to patients of Little River Medical Center and is offered at their Little River and Carolina Forest locations. To become a patient of LRMC, you can call 843-663-8000 and dial 1 to speak to a representative. This story is sponsored by Little River Medical Center.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
This segment is brought to you by Barefoot Landing.
Well, it is a beautiful day here at Barefoot Landing. I'm joined by Megan and Kim. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Excellent. All right, we're talking about a really exciting event that's coming up here at Barefoot Landing, Oktoberfest. Kim, tell me all about this event. This is so exciting.
Well, Oktoberfest will be held October 7th right here in this area from noon to 8 p.m. And what you can do is you purchase a wristband that looks just like this. They will be sold by the Humane Society of North Myrtle Beach. This whole event, the wristband proceeds will all go to the Humane Society of North Myrtle Beach. So you'll get a wristband and a cool little beer stein that changes color when you put liquid in it. Whatever that liquid is up to you. And then we will have food and drink specials at the restaurants, some of the other eateries, and also some of our retailers will have some discounts for wristband holders that day. The wristband is $10. And we're also going to have some music here on the Pepsi stage. We're going to have a couple of vendors. The Humane Society will be here. Hopefully they'll have some of their dogs with them that day. Patsy and Wrigley will be out here that day as well as part of Patsy's Pet Patrol, which Barefoot Landing is a proud sponsor of. And we're going to have an Every Dog is a Wiener Dog contest. That's at 3 o'clock. So dress up your dog, bring them on out and enter the contest, and we'll have some prizes. It's going to be a fun day all around.
Love it. And I feel awful because I didn't even mention our esteemed guest here is Darla. Miss Darla. Megan, tell me all about Darla.
So Darla is about 7 years old. She is a hound doggy. She is super, super sweet, very friendly. As you can see, anytime someone walks by, she just wants to make friends with them. She does have cancer, but she is not letting that get her down at all. She is spunky, full of life, so she is just gonna go back to the shelter and amp up the rest of the dogs to get excited for Oktoberfest.
Love it. This is a great event, obviously for a great cause. So where can people get their tickets?
Well, they can purchase their tickets online, either by going to bflanding.com, hsnmb.org, or you can purchase them the day of the event from 12 to 6. And there will be a big Humane Society tent. You won't be able to miss it in that general area. And that's where you're going to buy your wristbands and get your little beer stein and a list of all the participating merchants and go out and have a good day.
Well, good morning and thank you so much for joining us today on Living Local Carolina. Today I am joined in studio by Keosha Garrett. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. We're going to talk about what you have been doing, your ministry, Shanavia's Dream Sickle Cell Clinic.
Yes, ma'am. I started a nonprofit this year in memory of my late sister Shanavia, who passed away from sickle cell complications back in 2021. It's been amazing, the amount of people that we were able to reach in Charleston, McClellanville, Georgetown area. It's definitely amazing. So yeah.
You truly hit the ground running when
did.
it comes to all the different things that you've been doing. What do you think is important for the community to know about sickle cell?
The important thing, one of the many important things that I feel that our community should know is that sickle cell is definitely a forgotten about disease. We need more awareness because it affects so many people. I had my second annual blood drive back on Shanavia's birthday, which was June 10th. And I had MUSC to come out to do sickle cell trait testing. And just this morning, I had someone to reach out to me telling me, hey, I got my results and I have the sickle cell trait. And she's about 20 years old and she didn't know. So it's like that gap between the communication from parents over time to their children. Sometimes they forget to let their kids know, hey, you have the trait. Try not to mate with someone else that has the trait because then their child will have sickle cell, which in my case, that's what happened to my sister because my mom knew, but my dad, he didn't.
So education is super important.
Education, most definitely, education.
All right, so if people want to stay connected with you along this journey, how can they do that?
Well, definitely, they can follow us on Facebook at Shanavia's Dream Sickle Cell Clinic. Also, they can reach us at shanaviasdream@gmail.com. If they want to inquire about blood drives, they can refer to the Facebook page, and we keep everyone posted there.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Welcome back to Living Local Carolina. Today I'm joined by Dr. Anthony Thompson. How are you doing?
Doing quite well, Katie, and yourself?
I'm doing wonderful.
You know, our goal is, first of all, we got the name came from Ephesians, 2nd chapter.
And this is a group of a lot of different people in Charleston, leaders in Charleston.
Yes.
Tell me about your board.
Yes, well, my board consists, very diverse board. Has to be. You know, we have young people, white, black, Latino, you know, and everybody's denomination is completely different.
Yeah.
You know, Catholics, Reformed Episcopalians, Baptists, I mean, and so it's very diverse for a purpose, you know, because, you know, we're trying to promote what Christ already did. More or less promote, we're trying to perpetuate what he already did. And that is by the grace of God to encourage people through acts of forgiveness, repentance, and reconciliation, okay, to destroy those barriers that divide us, that hostility that divide us. Like I said, that can be a number of things, you know. And it's not just for one particular thing, but it can be a number of things, so that we can come together as one family, you know, the way it was intended to be. And so that's where we start.
And you were able to do this on a really big scale.
Yeah.
Whenever you had that event.
Yeah, when we had the event, oh, that took a lot of work.
I'm sure.
I mean,
lots of planning.
Yeah. I mean, even getting the organization together just to come as one. We didn't just do it right away. When I came back, this incident with George Floyd occurred. But to our surprise, the people in Charleston protested. You know, it's like, wow, I mean, they tore downtown up. They're mostly young people. And so we were shocked, we were surprised. And so there's a pastor named Reverend Zadek, who's the senior pastor at St. Michael's. And he and I have been doing some Lent season services together with other churches. So he called me up and said, you know, we need to do something to try to, you know, put some damper on what happened last night, and let people know, you know, we're one, you know, and not fight about this thing. So I'm like, well, what do you want to do? He said, well, you come to my church, we'll preach a sermon. You know, we did a duet, okay? And the duet was about when Christ first identified himself, you know, to the Jews, that he is the one to bring peace, you know, to the world. And so we used that scripture. He preached and I preached. And then we talked about George Floyd and what happened and what should not have happened.
Yeah.
And you know, and how we as Christians and as pastors need to be the first to express that it was wrong. And so afterwards we prayed at what you call the Four Corners of Law, because as you know, St. Michael's is on the Four Corners of Law. So we prayed, and after we got to praying, we went back inside St. Michael's, we had a forum. And the forum, everybody, I mean, it was for some reason God made it possible. There was a very diverse congregation that day. You know, tourists, my congregation, I mean, very diverse. And everybody, the general question was, what can we do to bring unity to the blacks and white in Charleston? And prior to that, yeah, a very powerful question, you know. And prior to that, I spoke to the pastors there. So they looked at me and said, you need to tell them about Stone Mountain, Georgia. And so I told them what happened there and how we could probably do the same thing here. And everybody was like, let's do it. I mean, just like right away. And so that's really where it started from, right there. And then we prayed about it for a couple of months, see where God wanted to go with this. And lo and behold, here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, One New Man in Charleston.
Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. How to use the QR code. Just open the camera app on your smartphone, iPad, or tablet. Point your device at the QR code so the QR code appears on your screen. Your device will recognize the QR code and show you a notification. Click that notification and you'll come to our website. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.